Okay, welcome everyone to the third day of the Camp. Today we'll be discussing the Orange ID integration and the Orange Games Platform SDK integration. I will demonstrate both these things on my own game prototype. I just wanted to go through what we learned the first 2 days and how I use those learnings to create this prototype. So on the first day, we learned from Paul his AI workflow and how he starts off with game creation with AI and getting to that first prompt. He was suggested with his tools was creating a markup doc of game design principles and then asking Cursor to come up with game ideas. So I replicated that process in Gemini. Share that now. So what I did here was ask Gemini with deep research to do a study on hyper-casual game principles. And after creating this doc, I asked to come up with 3 game concepts that are easy for an AI coding agent to accomplish and to give it a witchcraft theme. It spit out these 3 game ideas, and after choosing one, I went with the Spell Spire stack. I asked Gemini to create a prompt for Replit based on that game content. All I did was copy paste this entire thing. The result of that first prompt is this. So this is actually the result of the very first prompt. There was one error that I had to fix, but it wasn't that big a deal. Although this
Gemini, Phil, we can still see Gemini.
you're still right. Sorry. Okay. Take 3. So all I did was paste that prompt into here, and based on the attached prompt to build this game. And this was the very first pass. It's a stacking game, very similar to what you might see in a time zone or an arcade. Just a pretty bog standard stacking game. So what I did was, after this, on day 2, we learned all about making improvements to the game so that action feels good, feels rewarding. So then I remixed that original prototype. So what I wanted to do was really change this into a physics-based game. It converted the original game into a 3D game. And there's some interesting things it came up with on its own, like the audio cues for dropping. These are very standard audio files. You will see this on the Orange Game platform on Don't Bug Me. These are fairly standard that Replit uses, and I made some changes to those in the latest version. In this version, I tried to make some additional improvements, especially with the audio. There are some also new visual cues, but I'm still working out on those. So where is sound? And you are probably not, are you guys still seeing Replit?
Yes.
Okay. Just wondering what you sent me. There you go. So there is a sound based if you perfectly center, if you're able to drop it perfectly centered on the block below it. So it's, and there's a, you'll see there's some sounds actually can still work on, which I did for the version that will demonstrate on the Orange platform. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is reintegrate the D for your benefit. Joe is here if you have any questions. Doesn't look like there's going to be many questions today. So we'll just take this and remix it. Okay. The first thing you're going to do is go to VibeCodingList.com. On VibeCodingList.com, you'll have to an account. That's the first thing you're going to want to do. And then go over here to Orange Vibe Jam and find Orange ID integration. Now, for most of your projects, you are going to be using the React integration guide. So all you're going to do is go over there and then install. I know that my project is a React 18 project, but if you are unsure, just go ahead and ask the coding agent what version of React you're using. And then I'm just going to copy paste this. Oh, you know what? I don't really have to redo all this here.
I feel we still only see the Orange ID page right now.
Yeah. I have to go back and forth. I'm going to share entire screen. So you can see here on my screen, I asked the agent what version of React we were using. Once I found that out, you're just going to go to the integration guide. And I just copy pasted 4 React 18 projects and added that here. Depending on what the way your original UI is designed, the widget will appear differently. And that's something you might have to work in. What I did was I had pinned the widget appearance to the play button. Originally, it was the first screen that loads when the game loads, the passport widget. I had changed that to make sure that the game screen loads first. The widget only appears if the person is not logged in, and then they are forced to log in when they play. So in this case, let me just go back. Do that. So right now I logged out. I just want to show you before we do the installation, what this is going to appear like. So this is the widget. And then once you log in, this changes to start game. done logged in, and it's pulling that information from the Orange ID. Once you install this, do the npm installation, you may see a few errors while it's doing it. And then go back to the integration page and create a project ID. So in this case, I created a project ID for Tone Tower. This will give you a project ID and an API key. And to make the widget functional in your test project, you're going to pull your development URL. Copy paste that and whitelist it on the site under your project ID. And then that will appear in your whitelisted IDs. The other thing you're going to have to do is add the project ID and API key to the widget code. Once it's installed, you're just going to copy paste this whole thing. So once this was installed, I added that bit of script to the agent, and it knew immediately to add those credentials to the widget code. One thing you should know is that the project ID, tenant ID, and encryption key will remain the same even once you deploy. So the only thing you're going to need to do is whitelist that again on the Orange ID integration page at VibeCodingList. So you see here, I have multiple URLs for the same project. These dev URLs are are obviously the dev URLs that are on Replit. And then this is my published version. Even though it's on a Replit domain, it is a published version, and you might be publishing somewhere else, but you're just going to add that URL. And you can see that the project ID and API key does not change. So you will not have to change that every time you mix your project to add features. The other thing you should know is that when you are testing the ID integration, you have to open it in a new tab. You cannot use the iframe on your IDE or what are coding tools. If you do it in the iframe, it will not work. Once you open your project and everything is done correctly, you should see something like this, sign into play. And that will bring you to the widget. Then you can sign in with your credentials. And then we know that worked again because this name is being pulled from the Orange ID. Well, if you have any additional questions on how to integrate the ID, please feel free to ask in the WhatsApp group, even in the Vibe Jam channels on Discord, because if I don't respond to you, someone there surely will. So now we are going to move on to Ashik and how to integrate the Orange Games platform SDK to manage the tournaments.
Hello, hi everyone. So I'm gonna show you how to integrate the Game SDK to your games. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So this is how we integrate with the game in the environment platform, the Game SDK. This is the package URL, which I'm going to show you in a bit. And let me go through the steps shortly. First, you are going to build the game with Replit or a VibeCoding platform. Or if you have a pre-existing HTML pipeline, you can import it there and start from there as well. After the game is done, you can tell the AI engine there to integrate the game SDK. And then you can deploy, like Replit has their own deployment, get deployed from there. You can connect to GitHub and share the game from there as well. So let me show you an example how I did it. Anyone have any questions? Yeah. Nope. Okay. So this is the NPM package that we are going to use to integrate the SDK. You can visit this URL and you can see in the doc that it supports all the platforms. Like it supports TypeScript, BS6 imports, it supports CommonJS. So let me show you the example how I built a game and integrated the game SDK. So I built a simple Tech2 game for the demonstration purpose. So here in Replit, I told it to create a simple tic-tac-toe game, which will have the game over win, a game over screen, and it will show win or loss, and it will calculate the score based on the type it spent. Calculate the scores. From here, you can see I also told it to use JavaScript and like I told it to use TypeScript and ES6 imports. But generally, if you just tell it to create a game, it will use HTML5 and JavaScript in general. So after the initial version of the game is complete, as you can see here, I did some UI changes here. And then after the game is done, it has a game over again and it has play a game and everything. I told it to go through the details of our package and integrate it here. And you can see the AI isn't working and integrating our SDK. So after it says that it has successfully integrated our SDK, you can check the codes as well. Then I told it to push the codes to GitHub. And from there, it gave me some instructions to integrate with GitHub. To integrate GitHub with Replit, you have to go to the version control menu. From here, you can push it to Git using this command to get your game to GitHub. And then you can download the whole thing as zip. And if the project is public, you can just share this GitHub URL with us. Let me show you the game as well. So it will have the game start events, game end events, and game over, everything integrated with our SDK for seamless tournament integration. So let me play again. Let me reload it. So the game is started. Let me play it. So here you can see the game ended and I get the final score. It is also calling our SDK sending the data for the two integration. It also handled everything. Game initiation events, score events, progress saving, and also platform events like pause and results for the tournament platforms. And the game can be paused from the tournament performance. So this is how easy it is to integrate our Goama Game SDK.
She, can you just do quickly, if someone wants to keep their GitHub private, how you can download your game files?
Yeah, if the project is private, you simply download the project. If I click download, you just submit the zip file. And that's it.
Somebody test. We should have some place for people to send their game files if they decide to, or even the URL. I guess you can submit that with the submission.
Yeah, so I
On
just
the submission
posted the
page?
link. Yeah, I just posted a
Okay.
link and allows you to put a game test link in. You can either put the URL for the game itself, if it's public, or if you want to share that zip, just share a link to the zip.
Great.
And the links the links are up on the blog, but it's also, I've just posted it here in the chat, and we'll put it on Notion as well.
Okay, excellent. I just want to mention that part of the fees that we take from the entry is for hosting. So if you have no need to update your game continually, just let us host. Appeal, you were about to say?
Yeah, just ask, how can they, once they've done this, is there something they can use to check that the SDK is being embedded properly?
The game needs to be seated first. There will be console logs if the functions are called properly. You can check the consoles there. But the final thing, we need to check it ourselves on the tournament platform. If the events are firing properly, then it will work.
Are you working on a widget for this?
Yeah, yes. And also we are working on an internal tool which will help test the developers.
So right now, the flow would be to submit the game. If there's any issues, the Goama team will get back to you. But there's also work being done on a widget so that you could that check potentially automatically, but it's not ready just yet.
Okay, yeah. When we have the widget, it will be very easy to test everything is working properly or not. And here is the steps that the AI took to integrate it. And I checked it's very seamless. It installed our package, it took the events from our library and used them correctly. Yeah, keep the AI our library and it will handle the rest. So any clarifications or anything else?
Sorry, Ashik, can you repeat that?
Do you need any more clarifications from my side or any questions?
I think Koke has already successfully installed the SDK. As Christian, if you have any questions, we can answer those, or you can leave your questions on the WhatsApp group. The prototype that I showed earlier, I also installed the SDK, and I just want to show you what that looks like on the Orange Games platform. 1 second. Okay. So on this game, somewhere in here, I had installed the SDK, the same process that Ashik just showed us. The guys at Goama put it on staging. So I'm using an emulator. And actually, I'm just seeing this for the first time as well. So we'll see if it was really implemented. So here's a sign in. And then once you sign in, we are currently working on the single sign-on. So you only have to sign in one game, and then you'll have access to all the games on the platform. I think this is a good example to show that this is one of the games already on the platform. Christian, you shouldn't really feel intimidated about creating a game. We put this example just to really show that anyone could do this. There you go. Outside the emulator, it goes right to the rankings. And you could actually check your ranking. Apparently, with 17 points, I'm getting a lot of go. Which is probably a good segue into Peel, into your presentation about the creator economy.
Cool. So part of this was, on Monday, the team Kai took you through the benefits of the platform. And as we've discussed, the SDK gives you access to, as you saw, the game over screen, to the tournaments and those types of things. But what we wanted to run through was, what does that mean to you guys as creators? And how does that ultimately lead to you being able to make money? Because that's what this is all about, right? This is the monetization piece and how that's going to work, and how we look to both give you access to publish the game, but also access to an audience. What the launch is, we've opened up Orange Games. Orange Games has already had an audience. There's been upwards of 17 million plays on that platform. By putting in the SDK, it's giving creators the opportunity to put their games there with the built-in tools that we mentioned around missions and tournaments and all those things, but also access to a player base, because part of the structure is that the players will be rewarded based on the tokens that creators launch on the platform. Now, this has been proven. We ran some incentives around Flores during the Orange Vibe Jam. I've had over 30,000 visits in just a couple of weeks. So we've proven that with the right incentives, we can incentivize an audience to come and to engage with the VibeCoded apps. And that's what we're looking to expand upon with this platform. And part of how we do that is through the introduction of Go3. Go3 is an on-chain token, a testnet tokening on the Orange testnet, but you can think actually like on-chain XP. So each time somebody comes in and plays on the platform, and anytime they spend Orange, so they'll come in and spend Orange to enter into tournaments, they'll be credited 3 times the amount of Orange that they spend or that they win as part of taking parts in tournaments. They'll get 3 times the amount of Go3, which will be automatically airdropped to their EVM wallets. What the benefit of Go3 is that Go3 counts like XP, and then based on the number of Go3 that they hold in their wallet, they'll be airdropped a portion of the tokens that launch on. So the creators launch the token, and then that is airdropped to people that are coming and play based on the number of Go3 that they hold. Now, as far as the token element, there's a session tomorrow where the intern and a couple of the guys from Orange are going to walk you through how you can go ahead and launch a token in order to take part in this ecosystem. So basically, as creators, you would come along, you build your game, you submit your game, you input the Orange ID and the SDK. Players spend Orange. Based on the Orange that they spend, they'll collect Go3. Those Go3 are airdropped and kept in those wallets for the players. Players will receive airdrops as more tokens are launched on the Orange network. That incentivizes those players to come back and to play more and to reinvest their time to earn more Go3, which of course gives us a more engaged audience for creators and you guys to launch your games into an existing thriving ecosystem with an existing audience. Now, what does that mean for you who are developing? Basically, what you get is a monetization pathway that's already laid out. Players come in and they spend Orange. Orange is a tradable token and has a value, right? Consider that as if they were coming in and paying with a fiat currency. Part of that, what they pay in, about 80%, between 70 and 80%, goes back as prizes. So there's a prize, so that the rewards for the tournaments, but there's a slice taken off the top. That slice is used to pay the creators if you're running with just Orange. But if you choose to launch a token, I will go into more details about using Orange versus using a token. But if you chose to use a token, part of that slice is used to create liquidity in that token. So that's giving that token value and adding liquidity in a pool of that token versus Orange. What that does is then ultimately give that token value, and a portion of that token is used as airdrops to a holding Go3 as a reward and continued incentive for them to come and play. Meanwhile, you as a creator are getting a slice off the top or a rake of the tournaments, either in Orange or your own token, which as people engage with that token and your project expands, that token has a value, and that token value ultimately, the aim is for that token value to increase, allowing you to then cash out on that value. So what we're trying to do is to essentially build that flywheel where creators can come in and directly tap in by putting in the SDK and Orange ID, can directly tap into that ecosystem. Explorers are continually rewarded, right, to come back and to earn more tokens. And what that does is create a self-reinforcing flywheel where we have incentivized explorers coming back, checking out new vibe-coded games being added all of the time because of the interest in running new tournaments, and the cycle continues. As we said, it was proven in the Orange Vibe Jam. We had 30K bidders when we ran a similar type model of incentivizing explorers to give feedback and engage with builds. This is expanding upon that, where rather than just giving feedback and playing the game, the explorers are now directly rewarded through the tokens via the Go3. So just in getting started, as we've walked through on the creator side, you need to install the Orange ID, you need to install the SDK, which we're taking you through today, submit the game to Orange Games and to the Goama team, who will review the game and make sure it's fine. Also, what's important is to engage with the explorers on VibeCodingList. All of your builds should be listed on VibeCodingList as well. And that's an opportunity for you to have a two-way conversation with the explorers and the players, so they can give you feedback on your game. You can get direct feedback, and VibeCodingList is an awesome resource for that. And then, of course, monetizing via either using Orange or launching just your own token. There's another session on that tomorrow, and we'll give you some more information. We wanted to give you a feel for how the overall economy works, so that when we start talking about tokens and launching your own tokens, you'll understand how it fits into the overall economy. On the explorer side or the player side, they come to Orange Games and play. They spend Orange to enter the tournaments. They return daily to complete missions and earn more Go3. They refer their friends to earn Go3. That starts to build an engaged user base. They're incentivized to do that by stacking the Go3 and receiving airdrops and additional value against that. And ultimately, the explorer, in a sense, betting on your success, because what they're looking to get these creator tokens early in the token lifecycle where the value is low. But what they're betting on is that your game will do well. You'll build up an audience, you'll build that token value. And also those tokens that are being airdropped increase value, both for you as the creator, but also the explorers that those tokens have been dropped to. And that's basically it. What we're trying to do, it's the bridge between the engagement and the platform that we have in partnership with Goama, and being open that up to literally anybody who can come in and vibe code a game. You don't need to be a developer. You can come in, vibe code, implement the ID and the SDK, and open up a monetization pathway for your game. Any questions? No questions either, man. Everyone's confused, or that was so clear that you've got it in one shot. But as I said, I know it's a lot to take in. We will share this deck, and there is more sessions on the tokenization element tomorrow. And there is a lot to learn and to grasp about on the sort of crypto side of it, but we'll help to give you the information that you need. Ultimately, launching a token, it's the responsibilities on you. We're not, you take on some extra responsibility by launching a token. We'll walk you through the pros and cons of that in the session tomorrow. But there is an upside that comes along with additional work as well. We'll work you through that in tomorrow's tokenization session. And if you've got any questions on the creator economy and how that works, you can ask me now or yell out on the WhatsApp channel.
Everything you said sounds clear to me.
Awesome. Good to hear.
I guess we're just about to wrap up unless there are any questions. Before we go, I tried my game without the emulator. So I just want to share that real quick. If I can find it. Yep. Okay. So apparently I have successfully install the SDK. The guys are just using a dummy thumbnail for now. But this is my game, Home Tower. There will be practice tournaments where you can earn Go 3, and then there will be paid tournaments where you can also win Orange along with the Go 3. So I'm already logged in to the platform. And this is the end screen where you can access the leaderboards. The players will have access to all the other games on the platform as well. Okay, great. So thank you. Hopefully you can get more to attend tomorrow, because I think tomorrow is extremely important, especially for anyone interested in launching their own token, because we will walk everyone through that process tomorrow. Thank you, and have a good night.